The diner was loud until one cruel act shattered everything. A rich teen leaned forward, twisted her lips in disgust, and spat on the waitress. Silence fell hard. No one moved. No one spoke. She didn't notice the 50 leather-clad bikers watching from the back, memorizing every second. Riverside Diner was the kind of place where sunlight bounced off red vinyl booths, and the smell of coffee mingled with sizzling pancakes. Regulars greeted each other, sharing small laughs between bites, oblivious to the world outside. It was chaos and comfort rolled into one, the perfect backdrop for ordinary days. The lunch crowd was bustling, orders shouted over the hiss of the grill. Waitresses weaved between tables, carrying plates loaded with comfort food. Everything had a rhythm, a flow that everyone trusted. Patrons felt at home. The small town found solace here, in the friendly chatter and warm coffee. No one expected the peace to shatter. A single moment, one cruel, careless act, would cut through the noise, freezing the air like ice. A moment so sharp, it would make jaws drop, hearts pound, and leave everyone forever remembering it. But even then, the diner's most important regulars, sitting quietly in the back, were already observing. They would remember too, because respect mattered more to them than anything. Marina Hale, 22, moved with tired grace, the kind of poise that comes only from surviving storms without letting the world see the cracks. Her uniform was slightly wrinkled, her shoes scuffed, but her smile never wavered. Every customer received warmth, a greeting, a joke. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more true videos. Her life outside the diner was far less glamorous. Marina worked double shifts to pay for her mother's mounting medical bills. Some nights she went home with aching feet and eyes swollen from exhaustion, but she never let it affect her demeanor at work. The diner wasn't just a job, it was a lifeline, a place she could offer kindness when her own world felt fragile. Patrons came for more than the pancakes or coffee. They came for Marina. She made them feel seen, valued, and respected. She remembered their orders, their favorite tables, even the stories they told her about their lives. In her presence, Riverside Diner became more than a restaurant. It became home. That's why the insult cut deeper than anyone could imagine. It wasn't just a teenager's cruelty. It was an attack on the heart of the diner, a disruption of every quiet, loving moment Marina had carefully nurtured. Yet, she absorbed it silently, swallowing the sting, unaware of the storm silently gathering at the back. Kay Mercer had grown up in a world wrapped in privilege. Luxury cars at 16, private schools, house staff who anticipated her every whim. She had never known struggle, patience, or earned kindness. Life was meant to bend to her will. Today, her anger was small, trivial even. Her avocado toast had arrived without the extra seasoning she demanded. But small frustrations turned explosive in Kay's hands. Instead of asking politely, she leaned across the counter, twisted her face in disgust, and spat directly onto Marina's cheek. Kay had never been challenged, never faced consequences. Cruelty came naturally, as effortless as breathing. And yet, in that single moment, she unknowingly stepped into a world that demanded respect in ways she had never understood. The diner froze. Patrons stared. Forks hung in midair. The sound of coffee spilling on the counter seemed deafening. It was a lesson Kay did not yet realize she would need. A lesson taught by people who valued honor above wealth and kindness above arrogance. Her world of unchecked privilege had never met resistance. But resistance was waiting, silently, patiently, in the form of 50 eyes watching from the shadows. Time seemed to slow. Marina froze, feeling the wet sting on her cheek. She swallowed her humiliation, forcing herself to breathe evenly, to keep working. The room was motionless. Conversations died mid-word. Phones hovered in the air. Everyone watched. Kay smirked, satisfied with her display of power, unaware that she had just crossed an invisible line. The diner wasn't just a collection of tables and chairs. It was Marina's sanctuary, a place where kindness reigned. And now it had been desecrated. Marina's eyes flicked up briefly. She met Kay's gaze for a heartbeat, searching for something. Remorse, recognition, even fear. There was nothing. Only entitlement. Only cruelty. But she did not break. Marina had faced storms before. She had survived with quiet dignity, and she would survive this too. What Kay didn't notice were the massive figures sitting at the back. 50 leather-clad bikers, their eyes cold and calculating. They had seen everything. Not a word was spoken. No action taken yet. But in their gaze, Kay's arrogance would soon meet a reckoning, one she could never imagine. In that instant, the diner was no longer just a diner. It was the stage for a story of power, humility, and unexpected justice. And it had only just begun. Garrick and his crew sat quietly, sipping coffee, their tattoos coiling like silent warnings under black leather vests. They had spent the morning raising money for a children's hospital, but charity didn't dull their instincts. They noticed everything, respected nothing less than loyalty and honor. 50 pairs of eyes followed every movement. Kay's arrogance didn't intimidate them. Disrespect, however, toward someone innocent did. Every flick of her hand, every Every sneer, every cruel word was cataloged, stored in memory. They did not speak. They did not act yet. But the message was clear. Injustice would not go unchallenged. For the bikers, kindness wasn't weakness. Respect wasn't optional. Loyalty wasn't conditional. And cruelty toward the helpless? Unforgivable. Marina, in her quiet strength, had earned their admiration long ago. And Kay, for the first time in her privileged life, would learn the gravity of crossing the wrong person. The diner hummed around them, oblivious to the silent storm. Patrons whispered and turned, unaware that the protectors of honor were watching, waiting, and ready to act if needed. The rules of their world were simple. Protect the innocent, correct the arrogant, and let lessons be learned, sometimes the hard way. Kay sat back, unaware of the tension she had sparked. She had expected shock, maybe even tears. What she hadn't expected was the quiet strength of Marina, who didn't lash out, didn't scream, didn't beg for apology. She simply continued her work. The bikers leaned forward slightly, their presence a subtle warning rather than a threat. They didn't need to speak. Their authority was understood. Marina had done nothing wrong. Kay had stepped into a world far beyond her experience. Patrons began to murmur, sympathy mixing with awe. Some offered Marina apologetic glances. Others avoided her gaze entirely. But she never faltered. She held her head high, her hands steady, her heart strong. This was the first lesson Kay hadn't expected to learn. Actions have consequences. Wealth could not shield her from accountability. Privilege could not erase the moral weight of cruelty. And while punishment wasn't immediate, it was inevitable. The biker's eyes, filled with patient judgment, reminded her that respect was earned, and it could not be bought. In that quiet, tense atmosphere, something shifted. The seed of humility was planted. Kay didn't know it yet, but this was the moment her life began to change. Weeks passed. Kay returned to the diner, this time with no pretense of entitlement. She began working alongside Marina, learning what it meant to serve, to clean, to face rude customers with patience. Every day was a lesson in humility. Every interaction a mirror reflecting the world beyond wealth. First, she stumbled. Orders were mixed, trays wobbled, and customers glared. But Marina guided her gently, teaching without judgment, showing the satisfaction of earning smiles rather than demanding them. Kay began to understand a world she had never known. A world where hard work mattered, where every act of kindness held weight, and where respect was not automatic. The bikers noticed her transformation. Garrick observed quietly, nodding to himself as Kay grew less self-centered, more aware, more responsible. Their watchful presence, once intimidating, became a source of guidance, a silent approval that reinforced the lessons Kay was learning. Slowly, her arrogance melted. Small victories, remembering a customer's favorite drink, calming an upset patron, offering a genuine smile, built confidence. Humility replaced entitlement. Pride shifted from selfishness to responsibility. By the time a crisis struck Marina's family, Kay had become someone who could act, not just observe. She had grown, and the diner, once a stage for humiliation, had become the classroom where a rich teen learned the most valuable lessons money could never buy. It happened mid-shift. A phone call shattered the routine. Marina's mother had been rushed to the hospital. Panic clawed at her chest. Knees weakened. The world spun. Kay saw it instantly. No hesitation. She grabbed the phone, called Garrick and the other bikers. Within minutes, the diner transformed. 50 leather-clad men moved with precision, taking over Marina's responsibilities without complaint. Coffee poured, pancakes flipped, dishes washed. The diner's rhythm maintained as if nothing had happened. Marina, trembling, clutched her coat and ran. Kay followed in the ambulance, hands squeezed tightly in solidarity. For once, wealth and privilege meant nothing. Action, compassion, courage mattered. Kay stayed by Marina's side, offering comfort, reassurance, and strength, proving that the lessons of humility had been absorbed. At the hospital, Garrick and his crew waited in the lobby. Their presence was quiet but formidable. They were ready to help, protect, and support however needed. And in those tense hours, Kay discovered a truth that would stay with her forever. Kindness is most powerful when combined with courage. The diner staff and bikers became legends that day. 50 imposing men worked behind the counter, flipping eggs, pouring coffee, and cleaning tables while Marina rushed to the hospital. Patrons watched, jaws dropping, eyes wide. The scene was surreal. Children stared, elderly customers whispered, and social media buzzed with disbelief. But it wasn't about spectacle. It was about respect, loyalty, and the idea that community can rise to support those who need it most. For Kay, this was transformational. She witnessed true power used for good, the strength of unity, and the impact of selfless action. She realized that privilege alone meant nothing without empathy and action. The bikers, calm and silent, reminded the world, and Kay, that heroism often comes in unexpected forms. They didn't seek praise. They didn't demand attention. They simply did what was right. Marina's mother stabilized. Relief crashed over Marina in tidal waves. Tears streamed down her face, and Kay held her like a sister, whispering comfort and reassurance. Years of arrogance melted as Marina's quiet quiet strength guided Kay toward empathy. In hospital corridors, hand in hand, the two realized that kindness isn't just about the recipient. It heals the giver too. That day sealed a bond between them. Kay's past cruelty became a distant memory, replaced by loyalty, humility, and genuine care. Weeks later, Riverside Diner celebrated Marina's promotion to assistant manager. The entire town showed up. Patrons cheered. Friends embraced. The bikers nodded with quiet pride. Kay stood beside Marina, transformed. The girl who once spat in arrogance had earned respect not through fear, but through courage and humility. Garrick toasted the moment, honoring growth, second chances, and the power of community. Marina looked around, grateful for lessons learned, bonds formed, and the unexpected family life had offered. Life is often harsh, unfair, and unpredictable, but kindness, humility, and courage can transform hearts. Marina's grace, Kay's growth, and the bikers' loyalty showed that even small acts can ripple outward, changing lives. Second chances aren't just stories. They are opportunities for redemption, growth, and connection. In Riverside Diner, a single moment of cruelty turned into a legacy of love, courage, and transformation. A reminder that respect and kindness are more powerful than wealth, anger, or fear. If the story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share. Subscribe to Light of Kindness for more real, emotional stories that inspire and uplift. Tell us in the comments which moment moved you most. Was it Marina's quiet strength, Kay's transformation, or the bikers' unwavering loyalty? Your support helps these stories reach more hearts, reminding the world that kindness is never wasted, courage matters, and second chances can change everything.